Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we're going to be further discussing the Sandra Birchmore case. Now, if you were at the last live stream, you might remember this. If you don't, then please go check out the last live stream. Stay here with us today. But afterwards, maybe you want to see this as a good case overview, because we did bullet points for the timeline and just who's who and what is happening in this case. And it's really another crazy one. Right. So welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. I know this is 2 live streams in one day. If you're watching today with me, happy Saturday to all of you. Welcome to all my patrons. Thank you so much for your support, and all my members as well, all subscribers, any locals in chat, and of course, any family and friends of Sandra Birchmore. So let me give you a quick overview here. Sandra was born on May 13th of 1997. She was 23 years old and pregnant when she was murdered on February 1st of 2021. She worked as a teacher's assistant at Sharon Public Schools and dreamed of becoming a nurse, and she was super excited to become a mother. Her body was discovered on February 4th of 2021 based on a wellness check being carried out because she hadn't shown up to work. And the medical examiner, I'm going to eye roll already, ruled her death self-inflicted by hanging. How did they get to that? Like, what the hell was that? Because the evidence doesn't seem to follow that at all. It's kind of like the Ellen Greenberg case, Or I see a lot of you checked out the Sean Doherty case. I will link those afterwards for you. Those are not self-inflicted either, in my opinion. So in June of 2024, through a wrongful death lawsuit, Dr. Michael Baden, a prominent forensic pathologist, determined her death was actually homicide by strangulation. And on August 28th, which is not very long ago, at this time, 38-year-old Matthew Farwell, a former Stoughton police officer and allegedly the father of Sandra's unborn child, was arrested and charged with her murder. That was huge, massive, huge turn in this case. Like, oh my goodness, finally somebody held accountable, right? Why? He had allegedly been grooming and sexually abusing her since she was 15 years old. And he did not want that information exposed. Okay, so that's what this case is about. We've looked as well. I've updated my presentation. This guy is Matthew Farwell. The last time I did the presentation, I now blurred out that guy's face because it's Robert Devine, another shady character with allegations and all sorts. But this is Matthew Farwell, 38 years old, arrested. Now, he was meant to be back in court this week, actually. Today, if you're watching live with me, it is September 7th, and he was meant to be back in court on the 12th. So this is the defendant's motion for voluntary order of detention without prejudice, United States versus Matthew Farwell. Now remember, the FBI arrested him, so it's a federal case, and he could face the death penalty because of it. Sweet Caroline, thank you for being a member for 1 year. Happy Grizzlyversary. You said, so glad you're covering this case. I couldn't wait to hear your comments on the Jen Soto interview. Yes, if you guys didn't see that live stream earlier today, there's a new interview, a police interview featuring none other than Jennifer Soto in the Madeline Soto case that you might want to check out. Now, defendant's motion for voluntary order of detention without prejudice. This is just 2 pages that say the defendant, Matthew Farwell, through counsel, asked that this court enter a voluntary order of detention without prejudice and cancel the detention hearing scheduled for September 12th of 2024. As grounds for this request, the defense states that Mr. Farwell had his initial appearance before this court on August 28th of 2024. The government moved for Mr. Farwell's pretrial detention at that time. A detention hearing was scheduled for September 10th of 2024 and then rescheduled to September 12th, 2024. After an opportunity to consult with his counsel, Mr. Farwell now asked the court to enter a voluntary order of detention without prejudice, saving his right to request a detention hearing at a later date when his counsel has had additional time to review materials relating to this case and prepare for such a hearing. Mr. Farwell further states or asks that this court cancel the detention hearing scheduled for September 12th. So it seems like he's not going to be there on September 12th, okay? Now, what we're going to do in this episode today, I'm going to just say it so that in case someone's new here and you don't know how we roll here, Grizzly True Crime, We love documents. At Grizzly True Crime, we love documents because we like facts, okay? So we love documents. We love map time. We obviously like bullet point presentations to try to just concisely relay in the information, especially if someone's like missing or endangered. We want to get that information out, get the flyers out, the phone numbers, all that, right? We love documents like this. It's a 45-page document because it's got the facts on paper, or I should say the allegations on paper, but it's coming from the FBI, it's coming maybe from the district attorney's office, depending on what case we're looking at. And of course, we'll have FOIA files, Freedom of Information Act requests, which is amazing in the USA, because you can't really get that where I'm from. South Africa, I'm now in Switzerland. We can't really get that. So I really love getting my hands on documents and things like that. So thank you to Grizzly Cat, who's here in chat as well, and MB Inc. for helping me get these documents in this case as well. We're all always on the hunt for solid information like this. Now, I'm warning you that this is 45 pages long, okay? Let's see how my voice box does. Should be good. My plan is to read it all today. If it feels like it gets way too long and we need to split it up into 2 parts, then we'll just continue on tomorrow. But I would like to read this to you because it's the affidavit. And you know I love a probable cause affidavit. Do you remember the Koberger one? We've read through many, of course, but like, yes. Okay, so this will detail a lot more about the case following on the conversation from part 1, where we did an overview, right? We did presentation time, bullet points, that, okay? So now let's have a look. Affidavit of Special Agent Chenny, I want to say it with an accent again, Castruta. Castruita. Okay, Chenny Castruta, in support of government's motion for detention. I, Chenny, have been sworn that introduction and agent background. So this is the agent's background. Of course, they always do this in a PCA. So I'm quickly going to go forward now. If you want to get this document, I posted it today on Patreon. Or you could just find it out. It's out there, right? But I want to go here to this overview of the investigation because we want to deep dive this case, right? So I'm like nodding along. Yes, we do. I'm answering my own question. Yes, we do want to deep dive this. Okay, so on February 1st of 2021, then Stoughton police detective Matthew Farwell killed Sandra Birchmore. Farwell committed this murder, at least in part, to prevent Birchmore from disclosing to authorities information regarding his commission or possible commission of one or more crimes, including coercion and enticement in violation of those codes, deprivation of rights under color of law in violation, and then a ongoing wire fraud scheme in violation of. Farwell's murder of Birchmore was the culmination of Farwell's years-long pattern of abuse targeting Birchmore. You know what's so sad is this poor lady, she was 23 years old when she died, when she was murdered. She had been groomed and abused by, allegedly, Mr. Farwell and his twin brother and some other police officers. This is bad. Oh my goodness. Miss Conduct says, for 20 years I thought Dr. Baden was a good guy. I think he is a good guy, is he not? I still think he's a good guy because he makes a difference sometimes, right? Like in this case, saying that her death was he ruled it a homicide by strangulation, which was completely contradicting and now getting the wheels of justice turning what the initial medical examiner ruled, which was that she took her own life. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Even just based on first glance at what we're looking at, I'm like, how does that make any sense? So they say, thank you for your sticker there. When she was a young girl, Sandra Birchmore was interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement and eventually joined the Stoughton Police Explorers Academy, hereinafter Police Explorers, to learn more about law enforcement careers. While Birchmore was in the program, Farwell was involved as both a volunteer and an instructor. Farwell used his authority and access to groom, sexually exploit, and ultimately sexually abused then 15-year-old Birchmore. Farwell continued his sexual abuse after Birchmore became an adult, and he continued to engage in an extramarital sexual relationship with Birchmore until he killed her on February 1st of 2021. There are signs that in late 2020 and early 2021, Farwell was losing control of Birchmore. Something I'd also speculated about Stefan Stearns in Madeline Soto's case. It's like, oh, you're losing control. And the information that she possessed about his past and then ongoing conduct. In or around December 2020, Birchmore became pregnant. Soon thereafter, Birchmore told Farwell that he was the father of a child, and she wanted him to be more involved in the planning for the impending birth. Now, just remember, Mr. Farwell was married, had 2 kids, and had a third on the way at the time that Sandra Birchmore was murdered. And he actually went the next day to hold his newborn, I think, son in his arms, wearing what appears to be the same clothes that he's wearing on the surveillance when Sandra was last seen, and he enters the building later. Wow. Misty Harris said, thank you for your hard work, facts, and being so caring. Thank you so much. You know what I want to do quickly? I just want to find a picture of Sandra Birchmore for us. So I've got a few, actually. Actually, let me first show you this so that you can see what I'm talking about. This was him the day after the murder. Listen here. Get out from behind me there, bro. I'm trying to resize this. There he is. This guy, oh my goodness. Mr. Farwell over there. And let's find a nice one of Sandra Birchmore, just so that I can have it up on the screen. I always like to do that. Just hold on 1 second, because I've been making lots of emojis for the members, so that's all I can see right now. Okay. Stand by, everybody. Sorry that this is now taking some time. Damn it. Where are the pictures? My goodness. I'm trying to find them all. No, I can't find one now. I've got too many pictures. I can't see straight. Sorry about that. There's a picture of Sandra. Wait, there. I found one. Here we go. Let's put this one up. Isn't that so nice? Okay, so let's move my logo. And now we can read this whole document. Are we ready? Yeah, you guys are like, gross, what a creep. Melissa Loves True Crime says that this jackass is the biggest pig I've ever seen. I hate to be mean to pigs like that too, right? Sophie said, I still can't believe his wife is standing by his side. I was also looking. I haven't seen her make any statements, but I do believe they're still married. He was just arrested on August 28th, so I think it might take some time for her to come to terms with all of this, right? But like, damn, okay. Now, we were at point number 6. Okay, there. Okay, so he was losing control of Birchmore and the information she possessed about his past and then ongoing conduct. In or around December 2020, Birchmore became pregnant, and soon thereafter, she told Farwell that he was the father of her child and she wanted him to be more involved in the planning for the impending birth. In January of 2021, Birchmore's friend contacted Farwell's employer, the Stoughton Police Department, and during that call, referenced Farwell and Birchmore's illicit sexual relationship. Shortly thereafter, a Stoughton Police Department employee told Farwell about that call. I heard somewhere that it's almost like that Sandra owed that friend some money, and the friend got pissed off that she hadn't paid her back, and then she called the department to say, hey, by the way, Matthew Farwell has been having sex with her. Something like that. I don't know. Jennifer said, gee, I hope you're keeping hydrated and grounded with all these cases. Always. She said also Louisville, Kentucky, had the same program, same outcome. Oh no. Please send me some more information on that. So Tanya said, did the autopsy confirm he was the father? It did not. We don't have confirmation of that, unfortunately. So in January of 2021, okay, so we know about the friend contacting and saying, and that obviously, then he was pissed off. He was like, wait, what? Why do people know about this? Shortly thereafter, a Stoughton Police Department employee told Farwell about that call. By the end of January of 2021, Farwell faced the specter of additional disclosures to law enforcement regarding his prior sexual abuse of Birchmore and his then ongoing efforts to defraud the Stoughton Police Department and town of Stoughton by meeting her for sex when he was supposed to be on duty as a police officer. On February 1st of 2021, Farwell went to Birchmore's apartment in Canton, Massachusetts, wearing a COVID-19. I think I could say that. YouTube used to block that word big time, that phrase. You had to say all like panoramic for the pandemic, all sorts of words, okay? Anyway, let's hope they don't have an issue with that now. Medical face mask. Once he was inside, he killed her and staged her body and apartment to make it appear that Birchmore had died by taking her own life. This guy, my word. And people said that no, he probably thought that no one would suspect it's him because he was very anti-mask wearing. So, of course, he took advantage of people wearing masks to cover his face, and he put his like hoodie like over, and he was just walking like all, I don't know, trying to make himself smaller, just like creeping in there. But later he admitted it was him on the surveillance footage. He said, yes, he went to visit her. He broke up with her. He told her it is over, okay? It's done. And that's why she took her own life. That's his theory. Like, no, bro, you're not that special, okay? So Kathleen's reminding everyone we did watch the elevator footage in the previous episode on this case. Please check the last few videos. Yes, please. We did look at that already. That's why I'm saying, guys, if you didn't see part 1, please go check it out, because we did an overview. We looked at that elevator footage, and it is apparently 14 minutes fast. So whatever time it says on that footage, just minus 14 minutes, okay? Now, they say on February 4th of 2021, 3 days after the murder, members of the Canton Police Department went to Birchmore's apartment to conduct a well-being check. When police officers entered Birchmore's apartment, they found her body. A paramedic determined that Birchmore was dead, and her body was transported to the office of the Chief Medical Examiner, hereinafter OCME. In early May of 2021, an OCME pathologist ruled Birchmore's manner of death to be taking her own life. When you hear more about this case, you'll know why I'm just like shaking my head. Honestly, it's like, what? Okay, so now they go into more. Here, we're on page 4. We're doing well so far. Evidence that Farwell committed federal offenses, or possibly committed federal offenses, by sexually abusing Birchmore when she was a minor. Matthew Farwell started sexually exploiting Sandra Birchmore no later than 2013, when she was 15 years old. The age of consent is, in Massachusetts, is 16. Okay. At that time, Birchmore was enrolled in the Police Explorers. Farwell used his position of trust and authority as a sworn police officer and instructor in the Police Explorers to groom Birchmore. Ultimately, Farwell sexually abused Birchmore, including by engaging in sexual intercourse with her. The Explorer program is a vocational education program that enables youth to explore career paths, such as careers in law enforcement. Police departments throughout the country partner with the Explorer program to create what are commonly known as local police Explorer programs. The Stoughton Police Department chartered and facilitated the Stoughton Police Explorers. It was a quasi-paramilitary program designed to expose youth participants to various aspects of policing, which does sound like a great program. You know, but how sad to take advantage of kids joining the program. Jennifer Fox said, I promise you she isn't the first victim. Yeah, I mean, and the amount of police officers that are implicated in this case, who else did they abuse? You know, like how many other victims are there? Farwell became a sworn member of the, how do we say this one? Wellesley? Locals? Tell me. Police Department in 2008. On March 27th of 2012, he was hired by the Stoughton Police Department, where he worked until he resigned on April 1st of 2022. Remember, she was murdered on February 1st of 2021, and he resigned in 2022 because of all these allegations. So did his twin brother, and so did the guy who was running this program, that Robert Devine. Prior to joining the Stoughton Police Department in 2012, he was a Police Explorers volunteer. So he was a volunteer, and it seems to me like he treated it like a candy shop. Like, you know what, I actually want to work there. So many cool kids to have access to, it seems like, based on the allegations. Okay. He had several roles as an instructor, including teaching firearms and explosive safety and conducting canine demonstrations. At the time, Farwell was already familiar with the Police Explorers because he had also been a participant as a teenager. Judy says, your first pronunciation was correct. How did I say it? Wellesley? Is it Wellesley? I hope so. Okay. Thank you so much all for being here. Can you guys hear me? Is my sound good? I hope so. Yeah, you guys say everything is in hindsight, unfortunately. Yes, says Moonlit Cafe. You say everything is in hindsight, unfortunately. Right? Again, we're shining a big spotlight on this case so that it can serve maybe as a lesson, as an example of red flags to look out for. Things like that. If anyone sees anything, say something. It could actually save someone's life, right? Okay. Mark Betzer said, great coverage, Grizzly. This is on CCTV, going in, leaving the apartment. Yes, we saw that in part 1. All the text messages, we're going to see more of those text messages today. You say this is a slam dunk case, bottom line. I hope so, right? Okay, so to continue on, they say, the Explorer program is a vocational education program that enables youth to explore career paths, such as careers in law enforcement. Police departments throughout the country partner with the Explorer program to create what are commonly known as local police explorers programs. The Stoughton Police Department chartered and facilitated the Stoughton Police Explorers. It was a so I don't think is it not happening there anymore? Okay. Quasi-paramilitary program designed to expose youth participants to various aspects of policing. Farwell became a sworn member of the Wellesley Police Department in 2008, and then he was hired by Stoughton, and he was a teenager when he was participating in it originally as a volunteer, right? As you see, footnotes, Farwell was born in 1985. In March of 2010, Sandra Birchmore applied to be a Police Explorers participant. At the time, Birchmore was 12 years old. She began participating in the program in the spring of 2010, and she remained in the program through 2016. Farwell began to groom Birchmore when she was a child. This grooming culminated in Farwell SAing Birchmore in April of 2013 when she was only 15 years old. At the time of this assault, Farwell was 27 years old. Farwell continued to sexually abuse Birchmore prior to her 18th birthday. After Birchmore turned 18 years old, Farwell continued cultivating a sexual relationship with her that lasted until her death on February 1st of 2021. And he had all sorts of fantasies, choking her, all sorts of things, wanting her to pretend to be 13 or 14, no matter what her age was, how much older she got, and also wanting her to act as if he was her brother coming into the room, like all kinds of things, okay? Electronic messages between Farwell and Birchmore indicate that Farwell sexually abused Birchmore when she was a child. After Birchmore's death, law enforcement agents obtained Birchmore's cell phones, both Apple iPhones and laptop, and reviewed the data on those devices. During that review, agents discovered messages between Farwell and Birchmore. The messages confirmed that Farwell frequently communicated with Birchmore for years. The messages also indicate that Farwell had sex with Birchmore when she was a minor, starting in or around April of 2013 when Birchmore was 15 and Farwell was 27. Based on my training and experience, grooming is the process of a predator building a relationship with a child or vulnerable adult in order to gain their trust, enabling the groomer to ultimately exploit the child or otherwise vulnerable person. Under Massachusetts law, any intercourse with a person under the age of 16 is unlawful and constitutes sexual abuse, specifically statutory RAPE. Furthermore, any person who has sex with a child under the age of 16 being at least 10 years older than that child at the time of the intercourse is guilty of aggravated statutory RAPE. I have to censor some words for YouTube. Otherwise, they just completely suppress the reach and no one will ever hear about this case from me then. So, like and share. If you hit the like button, it helps YouTube know, hey, maybe we should show this to other people. It helps get into the algorithm. So if you want to do that, please do that and share as well on social media. So, during the relevant time period, as a Stoughton police officer, Farwell was a mandatory reporter under Massachusetts law. Now, data from Birchmore's Facebook account reveals aspects of the beginning of Farwell and Birchmore's online communications. Specifically, Facebook data indicates that Farwell sent Birchmore a Facebook friend request on October 28th of 2012. At that time, Birchmore was 15 years old and a participant in the Police Explorers. Farwell was her 26-year-old instructor. This guy. CPS said salute to the hardest working host mods in the true crime community. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you very much. So, on February 21st of 2019, Birchmore and Farwell had a text message conversation about Farwell taking Birchmore's virginity. Birchmore told Farwell that she was happy that he took it. Later in the same conversation, Farwell acknowledged that it was a big thing to get to be the first. This guy. I'm actually glad she had those messages. She still kept those messages. Because he was all about her deleting everything, but it seems like there's still many messages on her phone. In the same text conversation, Farwell also reminisced about the time that he digitally penetrated Birchmore's vagina. Digitally, okay. Discussing the day that occurred, Farwell asked Birchmore what she would have done if he told her that he wanted her that day. Birchmore responded that she would have told him that he could have sex with her after school. She also recalled the specific class and seat that she was in when she realized that she was going to lose her virginity to Farwell. Based on my investigation, I believe that this occurred during the 2012-2013 school year when Birchmore was 15 years old. Additionally, on March 19th of 2019, Farwell asked Birchmore, "What would you have done if we never used a condom and I never pulled out?" Birchmore reassured Farwell that she would have still finished school. Birchmore then told Farwell, "I loved prom night. It was worth not going to prom." This guy. Now, some people might be like, well, she seems like she's, consenting. She can't. She was 15. She can't. He's the predator. He's the groomer. He's going after a child. Want us to think of that. Think of the power imbalance here as well. It's just, he was a police officer. He was her instructor. It's terrible. Now, on February 11th of 2020, Birchmore and Farwell discussed the exact day that Farwell took then 15-year-old Birchmore's virginity. Again, so great that these messages were saved on her phone because there's evidence here. Wow. Birchmore: "I had butterflies so bad the day you took my virginity." Farwell: "Me too. It was such a big day." Yeah, you're in jail now, buddy. Okay. Birchmore: "Still know the date to this day." Farwell: "Really?" She says yes. He sends a smiley face. Birchmore: "That's not a date I'll ever forget. It was April 10th of 2013. He sends a smiley face. Birchmore: "Best day of my life. Face with heart emoji." Farwell: "Me too." Oh my goodness. Retro AI Unleashed said, "You even deleted messages can be found using, Celebrite." Yeah, even deleted, we know, right, from these true crime cases. Even deleted messages can be found. I'm sure they found things on his phone too. Lots. So, on June 19th of 2020, Birchmore and Farwell had the following conversation in which Farwell reminisced about his past criminal sexual abuse of Birchmore. Birchmore: "I'm glad you agreed to take my virginity though." Farwell: "Me too." Farwell: "Lol, if I pushed, I absolutely could have effed you without condoms from day one." Nice, bro. Nice. Okay. Birchmore: "Probably if you really pushed it." Birchmore: "I was kind of scared to say no in the beginning, not knowing how you take it. So yeah, you would have got no condoms. Lol." B. Okay. I'm so glad that you're all here and that you like documents, because I love documents and the facts that we are reading here. Thank you so much all for being here with me as we go through this, because this is there's a lot of details in this document. We're on page 8 out of 45. Now, they say other electronic messages confirm that Farwell sexually abused Birchmore when she was a child. Text messages between Birchmore and others confirm that Farwell sexually abused Birchmore as a child and continued a sexual relationship with her until her death. For example, on October 5th of 2020, Birchmore texted one of her friends, herein after person 1, that Farwell had been having sex with her for the last 10 years. My goodness. And that Farwell had taken her virginity before she was 16. See, she was starting to tell. Yeah. I think she was starting to be like, wait a minute, maybe this is not good. All right. Wait, let's just do the math. 10 years ago. The last 10 years. Wow. On May 20th of 2020, Birchmore told another friend that she had lost her virginity 5 days before the Boston Marathon bombing. Also, on October 5th of 2020, Birchmore prepared a draft message to Farwell's wife. Birchmore sent this draft text to person 1. The text states, in part, "I'm just messaging to inform you that your husband Matthew has been out cheating on you since before you guys were even married. I'm aware that Farwell and his wife got married in May of 2013. Shortly before Birchmore turned 16 years old. There's no known record indicating the draft message was sent to Farwell's wife." Okay, so I just want to resize. We've got a little bit too much here on the side, and then we can make it a bit bigger for you as well. Like that. Okay. Now, other text messages between Farwell and Birchmore demonstrate his sexual interest in minors. Well, there's a red flag. On June 15th of 2019, Farwell and Birchmore exchanged text messages in which they discussed role-playing during their next sexual encounter. Farwell asked Birchmore how old she was going to pretend to be during that encounter. When Birchmore responded 14, Farwell replied with a smiley face emoji. In another conversation between Farwell and Birchmore on February 21st of 2020, Farwell describes pinning Birchmore down during sex and asks her, "Will you say, 'Matt, stop. I'm 13. I'm not ready for this. OMFG, please stop.'" Now, I'm just going to say trigger warning, okay? In case any of this is upsetting to anyone, please then look after your mental health. If you need to step away, just know we always will save a seat for you, okay? So, I have also reviewed several text messages from 2020 in which Farwell instructs Birchmore to act as if he were her older brother coming into her room at night to have sex with her. Like this guy. This guy, oh my word. Well, he's going to be mighty embarrassed when this all comes out at trial as well. Yeah, for the whole world to see. I mean, we're looking at it now, but I don't know how many other people are looking at this. I know this case has gone on for quite some time. Finally, someone was arrested, right? Witnesses confirmed that Farwell cultivated a close relationship with Birchmore when she was a child. Agents have interviewed one of Birchmore's friends hereinafter, Person 2, regarding Birchmore's relationship with Farwell. Person 2 indicated that shortly before her death, Birchmore revealed to him or her, that Farwell started having sex with Birchmore when she was 15 years old. Agents have also interviewed one of Birchmore's relatives, who described being aware that Birchmore would meet with Farwell when Birchmore was a minor. Specifically, this family member indicated that around the time that Birchmore was a freshman in high school, she would tell him or her that she was meeting with Farwell so he could help her with homework. I reviewed a text message exchange between Farwell and Birchmore from June 17th of 2019, where the two discussed how Farwell had helped her test prep at the library. Oh dear. Farwell told Birchmore that she should have told him that she was interested in having sex with him that day. Birchmore told him that she was scared to speak up. Farwell then asked her, "Do you think I wouldn't want to F you?" Birchmore responded, "Yes, and cause of my age, I didn't want you to be like, no, WTF. Farwell then told her, "I understand that." In a conversation from April 5th of 2020, Farwell told Birchmore that he knew he wanted to take her virginity when he started helping her with schoolwork, because he was pretending to tutor her, right? Additionally, on February 21st of 2020, Birchmore and Farwell reminisced about when they first became sexually active. Here's a footnote here. Birchmore was a freshman in high school from September 2011 to June 2012. I just really want to see something because... I just want to see the date. Oh dear, I can't see it now. But Sandra, a lot of people say, where was her family? She was raised by a single mom because her stepdad died when she was young. She never met her biological father. And so I think it was around that. That's what I'm trying to find the date of when did they pass away. But her mother died. Then her aunt died. Like a lot of people in her life, in a very close circle, died all within a short space of time. So that was very sad. And so she was very vulnerable when this guy exploited her, right? Yeah, Daisy's like, oh, I saw a pic of him holding a baby. Yep, that was with his wife, right? I just really want to see here. I think it was around 20. I can't remember now. We'll go over that another time, okay? But yeah, she was very isolated. Lots of loss in her life. Very vulnerable when this guy groomed her and abused her. So, they say February 21st, right, of 2020. Birchmore. I listened better back then, though. Farwell. I wish it had been a year sooner after helping you study at the library. Farwell. You still listen and give me whatever I want, baby. Yes, retro, we went over this. Yes, indeed. Okay, so, okay, you guys are confused. I'm not sure why. That means you didn't watch part 1. That's what I know. Number 1, you guys did not watch part 1. Please go check it out after this so that you guys are all informed. This is the picture I showed. This is Matthew Farwell. This is a day after he murdered Sandra Birchmore, allegedly murdered Sandra Birchmore, when his wife, because he was married, with 2 children and a pregnant wife at the time that this murder took place. And the very next day after the murder took place, he went to stand by his wife's side as she had their 3rd child. And here he's holding the baby. And the thing about this is that it looks like he's wearing similar clothing to what he was wearing in the surveillance footage when he had gone over to Sandra Birchmore's apartment. Are we on the same page? Are we good? Okay. So... he says, you still listen and give me whatever I want, baby. Birchmore said, I didn't even make you wait a year after that. And good, but I don't think you're going to get what you want next time. So Farwell said, of course I will. I'll just take it. Birchmore, that's what you think. Good luck with that. Farwell, what was the first day you said, OMG, I want this guy to be my first and I want to feel him inside me? Birchmore. Yeah, so 2012, I finally decided that I was going to try and find a way to F you and just wasn't sure how. How did you feel when I asked to make your dream come true? He says, amazing. And she said, good. And he said, I absolutely would have F'd you in 12. She says, in 12? And then he said, in 2012. So, agents have also interviewed one of Birchmore's childhood friends. Person 3 confirmed that Birchmore would meet Farwell to help with her homework. Moreover, person 3 indicated that Birchmore confided in him or her that she was meeting with Farwell in early high school to have sex with him in his police car or truck, because he would do this type of thing even when he was supposed to be on duty, right? My goodness. This is one of those cases, again, that will make one quite angry, right? Steel Guitar says, he won't last long. Yeah. Now, evidence that Farwell committed federal offenses or possibly committed federal offenses by submitting false information to obtain wages for time spent engaging in sex acts with Birchmore. Farwell defrauded the Stoughton Police Department and town of Stoughton. On multiple occasions, Farwell engaged in sex acts with Birchmore while on duty as a Stoughton police officer. To cover this up, Farwell falsely represented that he had worked certain hours, when in truth, and in fact, he was not working. Rather, he was engaging in sex acts or spending time with Birchmore. Accordingly, Farwell's misconduct was also part of a scheme to obtain wages from the Stoughton Police Department, an agency of the town of Stoughton, through false statements or material omissions regarding the hours he was on duty and working as a police officer. Farwell's text messages with Birchmore indicate that he had sex with Birchmore while he was on duty as a Stoughton police officer. Can you imagine all the cases that he had then neglected, right? Wow. Okay. Now, text messages between Farwell and Birchmore indicate that on multiple occasions, Farwell left work during his shifts to meet and at times engage in sexual activity with Birchmore. These encounters occurred at various locations, including Birchmore's previous home in Stoughton, her more recent apartment in Canton, a Costco parking lot in Stoughton, and a Five Guys parking lot in Canton. Examples of dates and approximate start times of these encounters are listed here. Wow. Date, April 10th of 2020. Approximate start time, 11:46 p.m. May 1st, 2020, 11:10 p.m. So May 20th of 2020, 7:14 p.m. And so the list goes on. Okay, if you want to pause to read all these times, you can, but you can see a lot of them are in the evening while he's supposedly on duty. Right. Of course, when else can he hide it so well? Because he's married with children. Like this guy, oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so I've reviewed messages, we're on page 13, that reveal that both Farwell and Birchmore knew that some of the encounters occurred while Farwell was on duty. For example, on April 10th of 2020, remember the murder occurred on February 1st of 2021. Okay, Farwell wrote, I'm going to sneak away from work quick. On November 24th of 2020, Birchmore asked Farwell if Farwell would be on duty when the two were scheduled to meet. Farwell responded, yes, I will be on the clock. What a disgrace, honestly. What disrespect for the job, just for everything, for the job, for the victim, for his family, just for everyone and everything, right? My goodness. The text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, which precedes several of the above listed encounters, contain statements indicating that the purpose for at least some of the encounters was to engage in sex acts. For example, on several, I would probably say probably all, but they have to say some because they can't prove them all, right? For example, on several occasions, Farwell sent Birchmore text messages directing her to act as if she was being SA during the ensuing encounter. This guy. Farwell's scheme to defraud caused interstate wire communications. The town of Stoughton pays Stoughton police officers on a bi-weekly basis. In or around 2020 and January of 2021, Farwell received his paychecks via direct deposit to his account at the USAA Federal Savings Bank. The paycheck funds originated with Rockland Trust Bank and were deposited in Farwell's account via an automated clearinghouse transfer. Each ACH transfer originated outside of Massachusetts and or traveled through another state before terminating in Farwell's account. Accordingly, it appears that by engaging in sexual conduct when he should have been performing official duties as a police officer and obtaining pay for that time, Farwell may have committed wire fraud. Ooh, they got to charge him with everything, right? Farwell killed Birchmore to prevent her from disclosing information about his commission of federal crimes and possible commission of federal crimes. As described in detail below, there's evidence that Farwell killed Birchmore on February 1st of 2021 to prevent her from disclosing information about his possible commission of the federal crimes listed above. Birchmore's pregnancy. On October 5th of 2020, Person 1 told Birchmore that Farwell's wife was pregnant with the couple's third child. Person 1 indicated that the baby was due in February of 2021. Birchmore responded that she was going to tell Farwell's wife that he had been having sex with her for nearly 10 years. You know, the other thing is that this Farwell guy also had Sandra Birchmore babysit for him. Yes, at his own home with his wife there and his kids there. Oh, that's just like, it's just, I don't even know what to say about him. In summary, electronic messages between Farwell and Birchmore for the period beginning on or about October 5th of 2020 through January of 2021 indicate that Birchmore presented Farwell with an ultimatum. Farwell would have to agree to engage in unprotected sex with Birchmore with the goal of conceiving a child, and in return, Birchmore would not disclose their relationship. Birchmore had already told others that Farwell had been having sex with her since before she was 16 years old, which she knew was a crime, and Birchmore knew that Farwell was leaving work to have sex with her while he was on duty as a Stoughton police officer. CG says he was doing it on the clock. Yes, citizen Y ID, or yeah, is that how you said it? You said twisted. Very twisted. Thank you so much again, all for being here and listening to all of this. It's a lot, but we are going to power through this because the details in here, it helps us understand the case so much better. We'll be ready for trial when that day comes, right? So, according to text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, Birchmore sent Farwell a photo of her ovulation schedule, and the two started discussing timing their sexual encounters around specific times in Birchmore's cycle. So you see that? If she's saying, if you impregnate me, I'm not going to tell anyone, okay, about what you've done to me for 10 years. I'm not going to talk about this or that you do this on the job. So it's not like a mistake and then he's suddenly like, oh no, she's pregnant, I'm going to have to kill her. No, he's like, he's part of it. He's part of this whole planning, and then eventually he's like, oh hell no, he has to silence her, is what the allegations are. Actually, murdering her and a baby then. She was 8 to 10 weeks pregnant. He didn't get charged with that. I think that's similar to what I read out earlier in the Madeline Soto case of why not? But anyway, let's keep going. Approximately 1 week after Farwell agreed to have unprotected sex in order to conceive a child, Farwell and Birchmore had a disagreement about the terms of their agreement. The following is an excerpt from a text conversation on October 12th of 2020. Farwell: I said the agreement was once. That was our compromise. Birchmore: I asked if we could try this month, didn't realize that you meant F me once, lol. And then I asked if we could try it through this year, and you said, I'd think about it. The conversation continued on October 13th of 2020. Farwell: our compromise was try once. Wow, this guy is like, we'll try once as long as you don't tell anyone about what I've been doing to you for 10 years, okay? And that I've just been doing this all on the job. That's not, no. But anyways, like, our compromise was try once. Birchmore: yeah, it was to try this month. So you're thinking about the second thing I said as far as the rest of the year? Farwell: you said try once this month. If it happens, it's meant to be. Those are the exact words. Text messages indicated that a few weeks later, Birchmore continued to discuss trying to get pregnant. On November 3rd of 2020, she asked Farwell if they could try again that month or whether they would need to talk in person about that. Farwell responded, that's an in-person discussion. On November 5th of 2020, Birchmore asked Farwell if he had given any more thought to their prior conversation and told him that she thought of a way that they could both be happy. Stella Soul, thank you so much. You said, thank you, G and mods, for all your hard work. Thank you so much. And yes, thank you so much to the mods. Double live streams today on a weekend. If you guys want to spoil them with coffees, you can go to grizzlytruecrime.com. If you go to the support page, you'll first see all the ways to support the work that I do, but keep scrolling and you'll see there's the mod coffee link, okay? Buy me a coffee for the mods. And Nightbot will also be sharing the link throughout the stream. So thank you to everyone who's doing that as well. So Birchmore, how would you feel about us having a baby? You being there and signing the birth certificate. There's never going to be a need for your information anyway, so you'll be safe there. And I won't talk shit about her or your kids. That way, we both get what we want. I think the her would be obviously his wife, right? Birchmore, you asked me the other day what I wanted, and I didn't want to give it to you in the form of an ultimatum, so I'm trying to do it with you as a compromise type thing. Can you tell me what you thought of? Birchmore, I'm down for discussing it in person, but the more I thought about it, you signing it really isn't going to have an impact on you because of the way things are going to fall in the future. Shards of Words says, yeah, no charge on baby because it's federal charges. In November, okay, so Farwell said, okay, that's an in-person discussion. In November of 2020, after Birchmore learned that she was not yet pregnant, she asked Farwell about continuing to try to conceive for another month. On multiple occasions, Farwell told Birchmore that they would need to discuss that topic in person. Farwell continued to meet with Birchmore in person, and text messages suggest that they remain sexually active. On December 28th of 2020, Birchmore sent Farwell a text message informing him that she was pregnant. She sent him a photo of a poster that she had made to celebrate the pregnancy. Congrats, we are going to be parents 2021. You know, with the loss of so many of her own family members, her being so alone, so vulnerable, and then looking up to him kind of like a father figure, of course, right? It's crossing those boundaries a bit. But you know what I mean? Like, she's looking up to him. He's like a police officer. She admired police officers. He's grooming and exploiting her, you know, allegedly. He's a predator, allegedly. So just thinking how badly she wanted a family. She just wanted to be a mother. She wanted to start a family. And she had a whole life ahead of her. She was 23 years old. Right? And I mean, he's part of this whole process. So at what point he's like, oh, well, no, this is not going to happen. And murdered her? Oh my goodness, allegedly. Welcome, Susan. So Farwell's immediate response to Birchmore's disclosure about the pregnancy was, I literally have nothing to say right now. How could you express that in text when I said I don't appreciate it? Farwell and Birchmore then argued about the pregnancy in the following text conversation. Farwell, how far are you? Birchmore, regardless of how far, we're keeping it, but 3.5 weeks. Which means I conceived this month. Farwell, okay, well, we need to talk then. Birchmore says, no shit, that's obvious. She's like, no shit. No shit, Sherlock. No shit, that's obvious. Birchmore. And the birth certificate is being signed, or hers isn't. Hers. They say, at the time of these text messages, I know that Farwell's wife was 8 months pregnant with his third child. Based on the context of these texts and prior messages, I believe Birchmore was referring to the birth certificate for the child that Farwell's wife was then carrying. Birchmore. No, I'm mad you're acting how you are over a choice we both made. Farwell, I'm mad you act like you gave anyone a choice. Birchmore, LMAO. So you didn't have a choice? Question mark. Farwell, per usual, you make and do whatever you want. Birchmore, all I did was say, can I have it? You said, have what? And I said, you know what I'm asking for. And you stood up and said, yeah. Birchmore, you've been doing that. You mad she's due in February and I am in September. And you don't know how you're going to be there for both of us. And you need to be there during labor for me too. Oh dear. Okay, so, and then Birchmore said, because your kid should matter. Late August, early September. And then he replies, you are truly the worst person on the face of the earth. In that situation, I'd like to give him a mirror. Look in the mirror, bro, right? Okay. After the foregoing conversation, Birchmore again threatened to expose the truth about Farwell's prior sexual abuse and their ongoing relationship. Farwell responded by indicating that Birchmore had threatened him, causing him to agree to impregnate her. This guy. It's never his fault, right? Okay. Farwell, for the past week and a half, the doctor wasn't right, but now she was. And you just throw it at me because now you've got me. You honestly have absolutely no idea how to treat people. Wow, bro. It's rich coming from him. I have to effing bend over. No, bend over is the word. So, okay, but I have to effing bend over backwards for you. Now you want to act like this was some free will decision? You have threatened me from the word go. If I didn't do and give you what you wanted, you would ruin me. I made a deal with you, and then you changed the terms at every turn. We will deal with this tomorrow. Wow. Yeah, Kat says, he created her, though. Groomed her for years. Yes. Pernille says, not a relationship. Coercive control. Yes. Now, Farwell's escalating physical violence. On December 29th of 2020, remember the murder happened on February 1st of 2021, okay? So you can see how this is all brewing. Farwell and Birchmore met to talk in person. After this meeting, Birchmore sent Farwell a text alluding to a physical encounter. Birchmore: it made me really uncomfortable and stressed out and scared when you were next to me because I thought you were going to hit me after you said what you said and took things out of my hand. That's why I was crying. I know you wouldn't, but it still scared me. At least 3 witnesses have disclosed that in the weeks before her death, Birchmore told them that Farwell was physically violent with Birchmore, and Farwell discussed the pregnancy. According to death records, Birchmore was 4 feet 10 inches tall. Military records indicate that Farwell is 6 feet 4 inches tall. Like, he is a very tall guy, and she's quite a short lady, right? 6'4". So even that, just think of the coercive control, the grooming, the sexual abuse, the authority he has, and then never mind that, the physical size of this guy. I mean, it's so intimidating. My goodness, 4'10", and he's 6'4". Wow. So Salty Sweet Caroline said, not all men in blue. No, I don't know what that means. Do you mean like, so not all? Most cops are good, I think. Some are really, really bad. So I hope that no one thinks that we're thinking that police officers are all bad or whatever. No, this one's bad, and we're looking at this one right now. Allegedly bad, okay? He's got some charges. Okay, so person 2 reported that in the weeks prior to Birchmore's death, she was over the moon about her pregnancy. According to person 2, Birchmore had decreased her coffee consumption, discussed winter clothes for her future baby, and engaged in FaceTime calls with person 2 while selecting baby clothes. Person 2 indicated that Birchmore was nervous about telling Farwell about the pregnancy, but that she eventually did, in January of 2021, a month before she was murdered. Birchmore called person 2 and stated that after telling Farwell about the baby, Farwell told her that he just wished that she would die and he wants nothing to do with the baby. Like, this guy is the worst, right? And he's very childish. For a grown-ass man, he's talking like that. I wish you would die. I want nothing to do with the baby. Okay. Wow. Spineless. According to the information Birchmore shared with person 2, Farwell put Birchmore in a headlock and grabbed her cell phone from her hand. Doesn't that remind you of Daniel Howard, who was also a former police officer? He was Idaho State Police. We watched his trial together. If you didn't see that, the replays are always available, and that was a trial not to miss. My goodness, what we saw there. Him howling at the moon. But person 2 told Birchmore to distance herself from Farwell. Good advice. Safely, though. Given that he was dangerous, a police officer, and obviously did not care about the law. Yes. However, person 2 was also aware that Birchmore appeared to be attached to Farwell because he had taken her virginity when she was 15 years old. Yes, she was a victim of his for many years, a victim of coercive control. Of course, under that banner is obviously grooming and sexual abuse. And now it's escalating to domestic violence and all of that. But if you look at the overview would be, coercive control. And that's a tough one to get out of it unless you educate yourself a lot on that, right? Okay, so person 3 also indicated that in the days before her death, Birchmore disclosed that Farwell had been violent. Now he's being violent with a pregnant 23-year-old. What a man. This guy, oh my word, he's making me mad now. Okay, calm. Approximately 10 days before Birchmore's death, Birchmore and person 3 went to Walmart. Okay, there's a Walmart. Went to Walmart to buy a baby stroller for Birchmore's future child. Birchmore was excited about the baby and asked person 3 to be the child's godmother. Birchmore told person 3 that the day prior, Farwell had gotten angry with her for showing him a fetal sonogram. According to Birchmore, Farwell told her, "That's not my child. I don't want anything really to do with you." Sis. That's a South African way of saying like yuck or horrible or gross, like sis. Word, okay. And then Farwell pushed her to the ground. Person 3 told Birchmore to end the relationship with Farwell. Person 3 indicated that Birchmore seemed scared but not ready to leave Farwell because Farwell had been such a big part of Birchmore's life for several years. I mean, it would be a very confusing time for her She's 23. She's been a victim of all of this abuse, coercive control, sexual abuse, grooming, all of this for so many years. She's lost most of her family, close family members. I mean, so suddenly for him to change his behavior this way, it must be really confusing, right? So one would have to leave very safely and with help. Sussex Sandra said, just want to contribute to buying beverages for the mods, doing a wonderful job and maintaining a healthy, respectful chat. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for being here. Additionally, person 7, Birchmore's longtime therapist, wait, did I finish that sentence? Yes. Reported that in the weeks before Birchmore's death, Birchmore reported to her that Farwell got upset about the impending pregnancy and shoved her. In addition to these descriptions of Farwell's violence targeting Birchmore from person 2, person 3, and person 7, Birchmore's text messages to person 1 further confirm Farwell's escalating violence. On January 10th of 2021, Birchmore sent person 1 a text message indicating that she had recently argued with Farwell. Birchmore told person 1 that during the argument, Farwell took her cell phone out of her hand 3 times and refused to give it back to her. Birchmore also indicated that Farwell took her computer out of her hand and used his body to shove her. Remember, he's 6'4". In January of 2021, there was increasing pressure on Farwell. In January of 2021, the pressure on Farwell increased as a result of Birchmore's pregnancy. Birchmore tried to communicate with Farwell regarding her due date, ultrasounds, genetic testing, gender reveals, and doctor appointments. In his text responses, Farwell was unresponsive to or dismissive of those topics, or he appeared to ignore them. On January 4th of 2021, less than a month before she was murdered, Birchmore told Farwell that she was going to the doctor the next day and asked if he wanted to know how the appointment went. Farwell did not directly respond to that question. You know, given the whole context of this case, that really hurts my heart to think that she was, she had no one to really go with her. Maybe friends, but she wanted him to be there for her, to be like, do you want to know at least how the doctor's appointment went? Like, she's going through all of this alone, Bumblebee said such an immature creep, right? He's such an immature creep, right? My goodness. So in January of 2021, the pressure on Farwell increased as a result of Birchmore's pregnancy. Okay, so we did that. On January 4th, he was just ignoring her. She wanted to know does he want to know if the appointment went well? Not even, can you come with me? Farwell did not directly respond to that question. On January 5th of 2021, Birchmore asked Farwell to come over so they could discuss her estimated due date, the week of her first ultrasound, her conversation with her doctor, and her first appointment. Farwell did not respond directly to that request. Text messages from January 3rd, 2021 show that Birchmore asked Farwell if their child could have his last name. However, he told her that he would not discuss that issue via text message. Birchmore, so I have a compromise for you. You don't need to sign the birth certificate, the BC, if the baby can have your last name. Farwell, not discussing in text. We can talk in person. In another text message on January 6th of 2021, Birchmore began to ask Farwell what their family would look like. Birchmore, you don't have to sign the BC, birth certificate, if I'm allowed to at least list you, and then we can have your name, and I won't move to Stoughton or the town where Farwell's family resides. I won't bitch about holidays, but I would like you to come a few days before Christmas and Easter so you can see what they get from me, and I don't want you to leave them out. And 3, if you want to try and support them, we can talk about that, but I do want you to see them. Birchmore, I feel like I'm trying to be as fair as I can, and I want you there for labor. That I'm standing my ground on. Birchmore, last name. Farwell, okay, we can discuss this more in person. Birchmore, okay, I figured. Does it kind of sound okay to you? Now, the footnote. Farwell's reluctance to discuss the pregnancy by text message is significant because it is inconsistent with Farwell and Birchmore's long history of text message discussions regarding seemingly private topics. For example, there are thousands of text messages between Farwell and Birchmore in which Farwell discusses details regarding his work as a police officer, his sexual fantasies that were predominantly violent, and included many references to choking and rape, and graphic details about their previous sexual encounters. Farwell, it's a lot to think about. It's so much more than you have ever asked for. Birchmore, and still less than what any other girl would ask for. Yeah, shame she was scraping the barrel with that one. Not her fault. She was a victim of all of this. I'm just like, she knows it. She says it's still less than what any other girl would ask for. Tabby, welcome. Hokuto too, welcome. Nice to see you. You said this case, G, is everything. Healing Art said these bad cops just hide behind their badges. Yes, in plain sight. On January, and there were quite a few of these cops. A whole bunch of these overlap with the Karen Reed case as well. Oh dear. Okay. On January 20th of 2021, person 2 called the Stoughton Police Department, and in that call referenced the sexual relationship between Birchmore and Farwell. After learning about this call, the fact of which suggested at least some aspects of Farwell's illicit conduct may have been exposed to the Stoughton Police Department, Farwell sent Birchmore text messages revealing his extreme anger. He sent her a series of text messages with expletives telling Birchmore that he thought no one knew about their relationship, that he had no clue how bad this was, and indicating that he does not know if he needs to worry about any other disclosures. Farwell, dude, your effing friend called my job, Sandra, WTF. He's calling her dude. He's calling the young lady he's abused for 10 years, dude. Let me just have a sip of water. Okay, so dude, your effing friend called my job, Sandra WTF. She says, question mark? Your friend just called my effing work to complain about me, WTF. She says, I don't know. He said, what do you mean you don't know? And she says, I literally just woke up. Did you steal from her? Nope. What is going on? You also told me that no one knew about us, yet she claimed that we are effing. Birchmore said, it's literally nothing. Farwell, it's not nothing. She called my job. That's insane. Why would she call and drop my effing name, Sandra? I was calling her just Sandra. He's like, dude. And then he's like, Sandra. Like, what do I have to do with you not giving her something? Like, you have no idea how bad what she did is. Oh, she's affecting his reputation. For a while, I literally can't believe this is even real life. Like, what else do I have to worry about now? Which other friend will do something tomorrow? During this investigation, I've interviewed person 5, an employee of the Stoughton Police Department, who received the call from person 2 on January 20th of 2021. Person 5 indicated that he or she took down person 2's name and information and gave it to Farwell. Person 5 indicated that Farwell immediately got angry and pissed off and ordered person 5 not to speak about this to anyone and never talk about it again. Person 5 described Farwell's reaction as atypical and not consistent with his normal behavior. Phoebe said, exactly, G. It's all about his reputation, right? So, okay. Now, let me just see what I'm missing here quickly. All right. So, Birchmore's final days. On January 24th of 2021, approximately 1 week prior to Birchmore's death, she communicated with person 8 about Farwell. So, the father came by last night. It was like a complete 360 change. Person 8, 180? She says, yeah, lol. Now, the footnote says person 5 did not have an independent memory of the date of the call, but I have confirmed such date through business records. Person 8, good or bad? Birchmore, good, but unexpected. So it kind of threw me off and made me a little uncomfortable, but that's because of how things were going. He asked me if I'd give him a key and said that if I keep it a secret, he'll be around and see them and all that. So it's somewhere. Then he looked in my closet and then the bathroom. But I don't know why. Haven't figured that out. And you know, guys, if you didn't know, her body was found in the closet. That's where he staged it to look like she had taken her own life. So she's like, suddenly he's acting all nice. And he's asking for a copy of a key. As if he's like committing, right? And he says he's going to be there for us. But he's looking in my closet in the bathroom and I don't know why. Shame, man. Her gut feel was like, something's not right. Trust your gut. Birchmore, we started to heart and then work called him so he had to leave. Oh, and he brought me a ginger ale because I ran out. Person 8 says, what about the birth certificate? And Birchmore said, I think he's signing it, not sure. He's coming back again this week. But it was like a complete 180 from where we were at. Yeah, Stefan is like, that's so premeditated. I mean, it is so premeditated. Like, so, want to give me a key? And he even asked, there was like a key code to get into the building, and he asked her, so is this like a general one that everyone has, or is it specific for your apartment? I think she said it was a general one, so he's like, okay. Wow. So, based on my training and experience, I believe that Farwell's shift in demeanor on or about this date was his attempt to appease Birchmore until he could kill her. Additionally, the foregoing text messages, considered in light of other evidence, suggest that Farwell was making a plan to kill Birchmore. Part of that plan included asking Birchmore to give him a key and keep it secret. Just another little secret on top of all these little secrets, huh? Okay, so another part of the plan was inspecting various rooms of Birchmore's apartment, including the closet, to determine whether they contained items or presented options for how and when to kill Birchmore. Farwell's request for a key for Birchmore's apartment in the week leading up to her death is corroborated by other evidence. I have reviewed text messages between Farwell and Birchmore from January 24th of 2021, in which Birchmore gave Farwell the passcode to her building's front door and told him, I have your key too when you want it. Additionally, I have reviewed records from Walmart that suggest that Birchmore did in fact pay approximately $2 to have a key copied at 11:10 a.m. on January 24th of 2021. Mary said, not upset about his reputation, upset about getting caught for being a pedo. Well, that too, which is his reputation, right? He's like, no, I'm a good cop. No, you're not. Apparently not. So a footnote here says, thank you so much, Mary, for the sticker. On February 4th of 2021, Canton police found Birchmore's body next to the closet door with a duffel bag strap around her neck. The strap was wrapped around the closet door handle. Okay. According to text messages, Birchmore and Farwell exchanged on January 29th of 2021. She was murdered on February 1st, okay? Birchmore again gave Farwell the passcode to her building's front door, and Farwell verified that the code was the general one, given to the entire building, not just one assigned to her. Farwell requesting or accepting a key to Birchmore's apartment was a sudden change from recent conversations. I have reviewed text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, one as recent as October 14th of 2020, in which Farwell told her that he did not think it was a good idea for him to keep a key to her new Canton apartment. In a conversation with a friend, Person 9, on January 24th of 2021, Birchmore indicated that she was surprised that Farwell was now requesting a key to her apartment. So, we learn lessons from these cases, right? If suddenly someone's changing their entire demeanor, because he first became very violent, which was different, and then suddenly he's being nice, that could be a red flag. Trust your gut, right? That could be like, oh dear, the calm before the storm. Like, what is that? Especially if they're showing that they're violent, especially if they have been grooming, sexually abusing, having fantasies of choking and pretending one is way younger than one is. Oh dear, there's so much there. My goodness. Person 9. Did it go good with him? Birchmore. I got hit with a shocker. Question, can I call you? So what really went really well, surprisingly, he asked if he could have a key. He basically said he'll be around for as long as I keep it a secret and don't tell anybody. But he did admit that I do have the upper hand in the situation, which isn't a good thing, but I'm trying to and not be that person, if you know what I mean. Person 9. I get it. You are going to give him a key. Birchmore. I just made him a copy of it, yeah. Person 9 said, that's good. So I wonder if Person 9 really felt that was good. If the person didn't feel it was good, it's better to be honest, right? Sometimes honesty isn't nice. It might be like, don't do that, right? One would hope that, I don't know, that's what we learn from these cases. One would hope that we, I don't know, as Grizzlies can always be out there and be honest with people if it can protect them, rather than just appease and enable their behavior. Sometimes the truth is difficult, but when she said that's good, I don't know, I just get the feeling every time I read that, like, I don't know if Person 9 thought that was good, whoever they are. Birchmore, I'm not going to give it to him yet, but he also brought me a ginger ale last night, like I asked him to. And Person 9 said, he's coming around. And she said, a lot more than I thought he was going to, yes. I still have to verify the PIN for him to get into the apartment if he rings me and I don't answer. But like last night, he opened my closet door for something, and then he went to my bathroom looking at my bathroom, and then I have a dolly in my living room that he asked why I had it. It was just really odd. He started looking around. I don't know. Person 9, that's weird. Yes, that's weird. Yes, red flag. And Birchmore said, yeah, it was really weird. Yes. Ooh, Tea and Wildflower says it reminds me of the Burgos Aviles trial. Yes, who suddenly wanted to see the baby. Oh my goodness, you're so right. Remember that case? Oh my goodness. If you guys haven't seen that trial, it's another one worth watching. Okay. Blue Bear Art says, gee, can you remind the chat about the news conference where the chief said he's police, it's federal case and therefore eligible for the death penalty? Okay, so if anybody's confused, you gotta watch part 1. This is part 2 of the deep dive of the Sandra Birchmore case, right? So we did part 1 2 or 3 days ago, I think it was. Go and check that out, number 1, because we watched that press conference together and it's very helpful. So thank you, Blue Bear Arts, for reminding everyone as well. But this is a federal case. The FBI swooped in and charged this man. Okay, it's not a state case here. It doesn't have state charges from my understanding. It's federal charges, and therefore he's eligible for the death penalty, even though in Massachusetts, the state, the death penalty was abolished. I think it was in 1984. How do I know it's 1984? Because that's when I was born, okay? You'll be like, damn, she knows her law. And no, I was born then. I'm like, 1984. That's when Massachusetts, okay? Recently reading this. So, death penalty eligible because it's a federal case, right? Sharon said, Grizzly K, these videos help me with my volunteer work as a CASA in Greene County, Indiana. Thank you so much. I love messages like that. You could send me more information if you want to tell me. I love reading that when people say it's helpful because of this and this. That's so nice. Thank you. So, according to text messages between Farwell and Birchmore 2 days before Birchmore's death, she continued to engage Farwell about planning for the birth of their child. On January 30th of 2021, Birchmore asked Farwell if she could tell him the baby names that she was considering. Farwell told her that he would rather discuss that topic in person. Leading up to February 1st of 2021, Birchmore planned for other important baby-related events, such as who would care for her cats. Shame, man. She was planning everything. She was really excited, right? Who would care for her cats when she went into labor? She had 2 cats, I think. She ordered baby items and conducted Google searches related to her pregnancy and future child-rearing decisions. She also planned for newborn baby photos, an official pregnancy announcement, which she planned to do on Valentine's Day, as well as a gender reveal. She also made plans for her more immediate future, scheduling an OBGYN appointment for February 10th of 2021 and asking Farwell to help shovel out her car during the impending snowstorm. Footnotes 10. This planning is of note because it indicates that shortly before her death, Birchmore was doing things that indicated her plans for the future. It's also important because it reveals a level of care for her pets that is inconsistent with the circumstances of her death. Specifically, when police found Birchmore's body in her apartment on February 4th of 2021, her cats were present. She had made no arrangements for the animals. During the investigation, agents also learned that Birchmore had been taking classes in preparation for applying to nursing school because she dreamed of being a nurse. Sharon Edwards says CASA court appointed special advocate. Thank you so much. So, the day that Birchmore died. On February 1st of 2021 at 12:19 p.m., Birchmore sent Farwell text messages indicating that she was going to be released early at 12:35 p.m. from her job at the Sharon Public Schools. Farwell told her that he would not be in the area that day. Later in the afternoon of February 1st of 2021, Birchmore told Farwell that she had received an early gift in the mail and she was not planning to have a baby shower until late March because of the then ongoing pandemic. She told Farwell that once she learned whether they were having a boy or a girl, she wanted him to purchase clothes for the child to wear when he or she came home from the hospital. Investigators have reviewed surveillance videos from Birchmore's Canton apartment building. On February 1st of 2021, she's seen on the video, we looked at this in part 1, at approximately 5:01 p.m., accepting a DoorDash order and then again going outside briefly and returning with a snow brush. So finally we got that answer because I was like, is that a snow brush? Okay, a snow brush at 5:31 p.m. and 5:33 p.m. respectively. The last time Birchmore is seen alive on the video is on February 1st of 2021. I think she ordered pizza from DoorDash at 5:33 p.m., right? So that's, sorry, I think she ordered pizza, full stop. And then I read the last sentence. The last time Birchmore is seen alive on the video is on February 1st of 2021 at 5:33 p.m. Later that evening at approximately 9:08 p.m., Farwell sent Birchmore a text message asking whether he could come by for a second. At approximately 9:10 p.m., Birchmore sent Farwell a text message indicating that when he arrived at her apartment, the door would be open for him. This is the last known outgoing message sent from Birchmore's cell phone. This digital data is like, again, so much evidence against this guy. Surveillance video shows Farwell entering Birchmore's Canton apartment building at 9:14 p.m. In the surveillance video, Farwell is wearing street clothes, a hoodie with a hood up, and a face mask that is similar to the medical face mask that many people used during the pandemic. I have interviewed multiple witnesses who have each indicated that Farwell resisted wearing a mask during the pandemic. One of these witnesses stated that Farwell would only wear a mask when on duty and required by department policy to do so. The video surveillance recording shows that Farwell left Birchmore's apartment at 9:43 p.m. So arriving at 9:14, leaving at 9:43. Retro AI says you're gonna have fun in the snow, Mrs. G, for your my first proper snowy winter in Switzerland, right? Thank you. Okay, so footnotes here. I am aware that the electronic timestamp on the apartment complex's video surveillance system was off by approximately 13 minutes. The surveillance video time set forth in this affidavit account for this 13-minute difference and are therefore the approximate real time of the events. I reviewed Massachusetts State Police investigator reports which tentatively identify Farwell as the person on surveillance footage entering Birchmore's apartment on, and then is the footnote carrying on here, February 1st of 2021. I've also reviewed a report regarding State Police detectives' interview of Farwell in which Farwell admitted that he went to Birchmore's apartment on February 1st of 2021. He literally admitted it. He's like, okay, that was me. I was there. I mean, how would he hide? He's 6'4". Not everybody's 6'4". In that interview, Farwell stated that he had been there between approximately 9:10 and 9:30 p.m. Okay, so let me just quickly do this. Just like this a little bit. Sorry, I'm just adjusting something here quickly. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying. You guys are all saying 80s baby, 1985, all right. Ether Bunny said he has to be the most ignorant police person leaving all this evidence. And even what he Googled. Can they detect deleted messages using Celebrite? Yes, dude, yes. Oh my word. What a guy. What a cop. So we were still here. Sorry, we were still up here somewhere. Yeah. On February 4th of 2021, so this is now Canton police officers found Birchmore's body on February 4th of 2021. Canton police officers conducted a well-being check at Birchmore's apartment. One of Birchmore's co-workers called the police because Birchmore had failed to show up for work that day. When officers arrived, they found Birchmore's body seated on the floor in a reclined position with a duffel bag strap tied around her neck. That strap was connected to her closet doorknob, the closet that Farwell had inspected approximately 1 week earlier. At least one first responder quickly concluded that Birchmore had been deceased for days. Oh dear. I have reviewed crime scene photographs that depict Birchmore wearing the same clothing that she was wearing when she's seen on video entering her apartment on February 1st of 2021 at approximately 5:33 p.m. This is consistent with Birchmore having died later that same evening. According to police reports, when Birchmore's body was found, her cell phone was on the floor located approximately 12 inches from her right hand and 6 inches from her bent right knee. I have reviewed the data on Birchmore's phone. A log report indicates that the phone was locked from 9:13 p.m. I mean, he was like entering the building at 9:10, right? The phone was locked from 9:13 p.m. on February 1st of 2021 until the device powered off because of battery loss on February 3rd of 2021. On February 1st of 2021, while still locked, Birchmore's phone recorded a screenshot of a black screen at 9:18 p.m. In other words, after sending a final text message to Farwell to tell him that the door was unlocked, Birchmore's phone locked and was not unlocked until after the device was recovered by police. Health data on Birchmore's phone indicates that the last movement recorded by the phone on February 1st of 2021 occurred at 9:40 p.m. Remember, this guy left at 9:43-ish, right? Yeah, that was 3 minutes before Farwell was captured on surveillance video leaving Birchmore's apartment. Specifically, this data indicates that the mechanism that Apple uses to record movement registered 8 steps at approximately 9:40 p.m. These recorded steps occurred while Farwell was still in Birchmore's apartment. The phone recorded no additional steps between 9:40 p.m. and the time it was recovered by first responders on February 4th of 2021. As noted above, first responders ultimately found the phone next to Birchmore's body. Based on my review of the frequency of Birchmore's phone use over the weeks, months, and years leading up to her death, her failure to access her phone is inconsistent with her usual habits when alive and awake. I reviewed Birchmore's phone use from the hours leading up to her death on February 1st of 2021. The following are some of the items in Birchmore's phone data from the hours before her death. This is evidence that appears to be inconsistent with Birchmore, a pregnant woman choosing to die by taking her own life that day. Time, 1:25 p.m. to 1:31 p.m. Birchmore communicated with a photographer regarding the timeline for booking a newborn photography shoot. 7:57 p.m. Birchmore texted a friend to obtain baby clothes from her. And 8:25 p.m. Birchmore performed a Google search for cubby kids furniture. Like, all she was thinking about until her very last breath was how excited she was to have that baby, to be a mom. Okay, so we're on page 30 out of 45. We're going to keep going today. The condition, we'll finish it today, right? The condition of and items found in Birchmore's apartment were inconsistent with Birchmore dying by taking her own life. I have to say it the whole time, taking her own life, rather than the word, because YouTube that's the most sensitive word. They will age restrict, they might still do it, but they will age restrict this video, which means those who are not logged in won't be able to watch it, because you've got to confirm then that you're 18. So that's why I'm just telling you why I do that. I've interviewed family members who helped clean Birchmore's apartment in the days following her death. Some of the things they observed were also inconsistent with Birchmore deciding to take her own life. For example, during their first visit, they noted that Birchmore had been in the middle of doing laundry when she died, with a load of wet clothes in the washing machine and another load in the dryer. Additionally, they observed a homemade sign saying, "Congratulations, you're going to be a father." Oh no, that's so sad. That sign had an ultrasound photo on it, and it was sprinkled with glitter. Oh my goodness, she must have been so excited to see him and be like, okay, he's coming over, and be like, "Congrats, you're going to be a father." Oh dear. Additionally, and it also shows kind of how, I don't know how to say this, that she was a victim of his grooming and sexual abuse for all these years, because she's kind of, compartmentalizing their relationship. Like, "Congratulations, you're going to be a father." But of course, he was a father of 2 children already, with a third on the way with his wife, right? But shame, man, she was so excited in the situation, and she was his victim, right? And now allegedly murder victim as well. Okay. Caroline says, YouTube creators need a union. That was a good one, Caroline. Yes. Okay. Mary Beth Carswell, thank you so much. She said, "Thanks for the double live." Thank you. So, mods, if you can direct people to your mod coffee link, that would be amazing. Okay. There's a dedicated one for the mods if you guys want to check it out. So, additionally, isn't that just so sad? Like, just to think of how, I don't know, just like naive and excited she was to just be like, "Yeah, you're going to be a father." And she was like, "Okay." And she got murdered. Additionally, in Birchmore's apartment, family members observed a new baby stroller that was still in its package. They also observed homemade and store-bought onesies for a baby. One onesie read, "We're going to be parents," with a set of footprints underneath. Birchmore had packages that had been delivered recently, including clothing and other supplies for her baby. Birchmore had ordered items shortly before her death, and packages continued to arrive in the days following her death. Remember, there was a blizzard that came through the area at the time, so Farwell apparently knew, oh, well, this is a good opportunity. His wife was in the hospital. There was a C-section scheduled for the following day. She was in hospital. There was this blizzard. So he knew that, Sandra would probably not go to work, at least not the next day or the day after, because of the blizzard. But anyway, so he took his opportunity, allegedly. Finally, family members found a necklace that belonged to Birchmore lying on the floor of her bedroom. This necklace consisted of a thin gold chain with a pink flamingo charm. I do love flamingos, okay. The family members observed that the necklace's chain was broken, but not at the clasp. There was also a large clump of hair on the chain. From my review of the crime scene photos, I observed that while the strap was still around Birchmore's neck, the necklace was broken and hanging from the left side of her neck. The necklace's charm was on the right side of her abdomen. Autopsy and medical evidence. An OCME pathologist, hereinafter the medical examiner, performed an autopsy on Birchmore's body. The medical examiner determined that Birchmore's cause of death was asphyxia by hanging. The medical examiner ruled Birchmore's manner of death that she did it herself. I'm just going to snark and say, dumbass. Dumbass, oh my word. Okay. The medical examiner's written autopsy report noted that Birchmore's hyoid bone, a U-shaped bone at the front of the neck, was fractured on the right side, and that she suffered from petechial hemorrhages of the bulbar and palpebral conjunctivae. Additionally, the petechia is also a sign of the strangulation, right? Additionally, the medical examiner concluded that Birchmore had a hemorrhage of her left sternothyroid muscle. The medical examiner's autopsy report further confirmed that Birchmore was approximately 8 to 10 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. The autopsy included toxicology testing. The results of the toxicology test were negative for all substances except for sertraline, which was likely explained by the antidepressants Birchmore had been prescribed. As part of this investigation, the government retained Dr. William Smock. Now, here's a pop quiz for you. Let's see. Who knows where we've seen Dr. William Smock? I don't know if you guys remember him. We saw him at a trial. He was one of the witnesses. It was pretty epic. Piney Woods Law and Crime said, "Thank you for your tireless work for the victims. I've been following you from the start." You're an OG. You said you're an absolute mensch. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So, do we know? Do you remember? Dr. William Smock as an expert to independently review the crime scene photos, the autopsy photos, and the medical examiner's autopsy report. Dr. Smock is an emergency medicine residency and forensic fellowship trained physician with more than 40 years of experience in the forensic evaluation of injuries, crime scenes, the forensic evaluation and reconstruction of wounds. I'm going to scroll up now, including asphyxia-related deaths. Quickly, I want to see this. Oh, Mooney says Dr. Smock was fantastic. Not Latisha. Stefan says Dr. Smock. Do we remember from which trial it was? It was in my mind for a while. You know when you're like, where is that from again? And you go to sleep. And then you wake up and your brain's like, I know. And the next morning, my brain was like, I know it. That's right. And says Candy Howard Hero. The Daniel Howard trial. Indeed. Good job. So they say, in my review of Birchmore's phone data, I noticed several photos of Birchmore in which she's wearing this necklace. Okay. Loretta said, double duty Gizler, some hard work. Yes. So we were at the sentence here, related deaths. His training, this is now about Dr. Smock, experience and position as a police surgeon, instructor at the Louisville Metro Police Academy, instructor for the U.S. Department of Justice, a professor of emergency medicine, medical director of an EMS service, physician, medical advisor to the FBI, damn, his credentials, and U.S. Marshal Service, and an assistant medical examiner with the Kentucky Medical Examiners, includes the emergency treatment, investigation, and reconstruction of asphyxia-related deaths, and the analysis of crime scene for evidence of alteration. So let's hope he can be Sandra Birchmore's hero as well. Can't wait to see that. Will he be at the trial? I hope so. Phoebe said, yes, Dr. Smock was from the Howard trial. Yeah, Howard the Coward. Daniel Howard. So he has treated and evaluated thousands of patients, both fatally and non-fatally injured, who have experienced the physiological consequences of asphyxia, including strangulation. Dr. Smock has written, lectured extensively, and trained thousands of law enforcement officers, physicians, nurses, judges, attorneys on evidence collection, crime scene investigation, the analysis and reconstruction of wounds, injury mechanisms, and the medical risks and consequences of asphyxia. Based on his review of the evidence, Dr. Smock has made several observations and conclusions that call into question the prior finding that Birchmore's cause of death was that she did it herself. Instead, further confirmed that Birchmore's cause of death was homicide. Dr. Smock to the rescue again. Because that, in the Daniel Howard trial, he was also saying his wife, did it to herself, and that was brought into question, and there was one person who kind of agreed with that, but no, he came in to save the day here as well. He's like, no, this looks like homicide. First, Dr. Smock concluded that the fracture of the right superior horn of Birchmore's hyoid bone is not consistent with the position in which first responders found her, sitting. A sitting hanging is called an incomplete hanging, meaning only partial body weight is applied to the neck ligature. Dr. Smock's review of hundreds of cases of hangings in the forensic medical literature found no reported cases of hyoid bone fractures in seated women. Fractures of the hyoid bone are more commonly seen in strangulation, assaults, those were probably naughty YouTube words, sorry about that, and in hangings with full body weight applied to the ligature, but not seated hangings. Second, let me just say this. If anyone's triggered, okay, please step away for your mental health. We'll always save you a seat. We haven't seen Trigger Bunny for a while. Here's the Trigger Bunny. Maybe you're new here. When I show this during trials, the topic is it's a trigger warning, okay? So, I got this in the Netherlands. I hope he never breaks. He or she, I don't know. All right, so they say the pattern imprint. Second, Dr. Smock noted that during the autopsy, a pattern imprint was documented on Birchmore's right upper chest. The pattern imprint was the consequence of a buckle or buckles from the ligature strap being forced downward into Miss Birchmore's chest. The presence of this pattern imprint is not consistent with a ligature hanging. Rather, the presence of the pattern is consistent with blunt force trauma from an assault. When first responders found Birchmore's body, the buckle responsible for this imprint was observed just below her right ear. However, the location of the imprint on her chest is not consistent with an incomplete ligature hanging. Third, Dr. Smock, to the rescue, reviewed the autopsy photos that depict Birchmore with areas of skin missing from the inferior and lateral aspects of her nose, consistent with abrasions. These types of injuries are commonly seen in cases of suffocation when the victim moves their nose back and forth in an effort to breathe. Fourth, Dr. Smock noted that Birchmore was in the habit of always wearing a chain necklace with a flamingo pendant. The chain was found broken around Birchmore's neck. The breaking of Birchmore's chain necklace is consistent with a struggle. Dr. Smock, based on his education, experience, training, and his review of the materials in this case, opined with a reasonable degree of medical and scientific certainty that the cause of Miss Birchmore's death is asphyxia and that the manner of death is homicide. I can't wait to see him testify, right? Wow. Michelle Cap says, when did Farwell's wife leave him? Well, she didn't yet. He only got arrested on August 28th of 2024, which is like a week ago, right? And so she was still married to him up until then. She's still married to him now. Don't know. I don't know. He probably just played it down like, no, man, these are all just allegations. Don't worry about it. Of course not. I was there. I broke up with her. Whatever he said. Okay, he sounds like he could lie quite well, right? So, Massachusetts State Police interview of Matthew Farwell. On February 6th of 2021, we're now on page 34 out of 45, okay? Almost there. February 6th. That was 2 days after her body was found. 2 days after the police found Birchmore's body in her apartment, Massachusetts State Police detectives interviewed Farwell. I want to see that interview. I won't get a FOIA request for that. Yes, we want to see that, please. Come on, we saw Brooks Houck. It's a different state, but we saw Brooks Houck. Can we see this one too? Brooks Houck is not a cop, I'm just saying. Sometimes you could see, like Sarah Boone or whatever, you could see police interviews before the trial. Yes. Okay, so anyway, the interview occurred in the parking lot. I don't think there's a chance of that. We also actually won't see this trial. I keep forgetting that. It's a federal case. They don't live stream those. Damn it. We're not going to see it there. Kath, you are reminding me. We are thinking the same thing at the same time. You're like, federal cases are never televised. We won't get to see any of the trial. Damn it. At least we saw Dr. Smock at the Daniel Howard trial, and we'll know how well he's going to do if he does testify there, right? Okay. So, I'm just laughing at Leslie's comment there. All right, so 2 days, they interviewed Farwell. The interview occurred in the parking lot of a Stoughton elementary school. During this interview, Farwell made several false statements about his relationship with Birchmore. That's this dumbass, doesn't know? They've got all the digital evidence. Farwell told officers that he was involved in a sexual relationship with Birchmore, but he claimed the relationship only began in 2020. Liar. Based on this investigation, Farwell's statement to detectives was false. Yeah, right out of the gate, he's just like, yeah, let's start lying. Like, that's going to go well. As described above, Farwell began having sex with Birchmore in 2013 and continued to have sex with her until near her death. Like, hello. He's like, no, 2020. Yeah, right. Farwell told detectives that he only had sex with Birchmore 2 or 3 times in the previous year. This statement was also false. Based on text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, Farwell had sexual intercourse with Birchmore on at least 10 occasions between January 1st, 2020 and February 1st of 2021. Okay. So Farwell also told detectives that he could not have been the father of Birchmore's unborn child because the last time that he had intercourse with her was October 2020. This statement was also false. Set forth below is a text message conversation between Farwell and Birchmore on November 18th of 2020 in which they discussed an upcoming sexual encounter. Farwell: I'm gonna try for tonight. I've been in interviews all day from the murder. Sorry. Well, isn't he really focused on his job, hey? Birchmore: exciting. Okay, I'm running to the store and doing something for you then. I hope you can come. Farwell: what are you doing for me? She says, lol, shaving. I mean, she's trying to keep it mysterious. He's just like, what are you going to do? So he said, are you planning on rolling me Birchmore said, are you planning on rolling me over? I need to know what you want if you come. Farwell, if you want me to roll you. Farwell, would you want me to use a condom if I roll you? Birchmore, I don't have any. Lol, I never picked any up. Birchmore, do you want me to just take what you do or try and say no? Oh dear. I know being told no is your favorite. And he's like, say no. Okay, wait, what? Birchmore? Wait. We have to go up to the sentence so it makes sense. Okay. Where does this carry on from? Is there like a redacted page? What's going on here? 35? This is page 36. Yeah, okay. We'll just carry on reading from here. Persons with severe mental issues. However, the Stoughton Police Department, the law enforcement agency in the town where Birchmore lived her whole life before moving to Canton on or about December 1st of 2020, has a record of Birchmore being subject to this temporary mental... Why did they just carry on like that? That was such a weird page. Okay, has a record of Birchmore being subject to this temporary mental health hospitalization only one time, in May of 2020. According to police records and information disclosed by person 7 on that day, Birchmore had gotten into a fight with a family member who called the police and reported Birchmore was going to harm herself. The police took Birchmore to the hospital where she was evaluated and deemed not at risk for self-harm. She was released a few hours later. According to person 7, Birchmore stated she was not wanting to take her own life, just angry at her family member. Additionally, I'm aware that minutes after Birchmore's release from this unfounded section, Farwell and Birchmore engaged in a graphic sexual conversation. Later, Birchmore apologized for worrying Farwell, and Farwell replied, I wasn't worried, I know you're fine. Wow. Now, the Canton Police Department has no record of Birchmore being subject to temporary mental health hospitalization. Damn, my mouth is just wanting to go to 1,000 miles an hour here. Hospitalization. While there is evidence that indicates that Birchmore may have had ideations on a few occasions between 2016 and 2018, which Farwell likely knew about because he was exploiting her during that time, I am not aware of credible evidence of any ideations in the approximately 3 years leading up to her death. Because, of course, he tried to make it look like she took her own life. So even if he knew that previously she may have struggled with depression, that maybe she had some ideations, to even exploit that vulnerability is just so sickening. So, in fact, all of the witnesses who agents interviewed about the interactions with Birchmore in the weeks leading up to her death suggested that during that period she was excited, optimistic, and involved in future planning. Person 7 had a therapy session with Birchmore on January 31st of 2021. During that meeting, person 7 screened Birchmore for any signs of depression or ideation. He or she found none. Person 7 had regular sessions with Birchmore and noted no signs of depression or ideation in the months leading up to Birchmore's death, and had her next appointment scheduled with Birchmore on February 4th of 2021. Oh, shame, man. Yeah, and he just says, I can't wait to see this one. Too bad the feds don't show the trials. Can they change that? We want to see that. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't see it. I hope there'll be full justice for Sandra Birchmore. Additionally, Farwell told detectives that he had been trying to distance himself from Birchmore. This is inconsistent with evidence that in Birchmore's final days, Farwell asked for a key to her apartment. I've also reviewed a text message from January 28th of 2021, just days before Birchmore's death, in which Farwell told her that when he came over that night, he would give her hugs. In that same conversation, he told her that he may not be able to visit her because he was at a death, but that it was all good because we do them all the time. In addition, I reviewed a text message exchange between Birchmore and Farwell from January 29th of 2021, in which Birchmore expressed joy at Farwell agreeing to engage in sexual activity with her again. Farwell's post-interview conduct. Following Birchmore's death, the Stoughton Police Department placed Farwell on administrative leave. Around that time, Farwell met a co-worker, person 4, at a local bar. During that meeting, Farwell told person 4 that he had a sexual relationship with Birchmore. However, according to person 4, at no point during that conversation did Farwell express any sadness, grief, or remorse about Birchmore's death. Farwell told person 4 that he was angry with MSP for looking into him. Yeah, Gemma said, your page 35 is missing a few points in Sandra's text. I can do that. May have been lost in download, but is on the website. Like, what happened here? Like, what is going on? I was like, wait, like that page just was like, page 35. Like, what is going on here? Look at it. Thank you, Gemma. I was very confused. I'll have to try to re-download it and see what's going on there. Okay, so anyway, we're on page 37, am I right? I think so. The post-interview conduct, yeah. So we talked about this, person 4. Yes, he was no remorse, but about Birchmore's death, Farwell told person 4 that he was angry with MSP for looking into him. Okay. Of course, he was angry and nothing else, right? At some point during the summer of 2021, person 4 attended a social gathering with Farwell, during which Farwell participated in a joke about Birchmore being hung on the door. Oh my word, that is so sick. He's joking about it? Joking. Wow. I'm aware that in Farwell's time as a Stoughton police officer and then detective, he responded to unattended deaths. That is just terrible. I can't believe he's joking about it, right? Yeah, Gemma's like, I had to check just to confirm it wasn't redacted. If you could send that to me, maybe we can. We like to be thorough. We want to see everything, right? I just quickly want to see if there's anything that I can find here quickly. Just hold on 1 second. I just want to see if I can maybe download it again and get that page or not. Or do I just have like a page 35 redacted copy, or what is going on there? Let me just quickly see. Sandra Birchmore. Just give me 1 second. Oh dear, there's so many documents. I don't even know which one it is now. This one is called US versus. Okay. Well, if you can, Gemma, send me just that page. If you can screenshot that one page, that'll be cool. Then I can read that. Yeah, no, there's too many documents for me to even see straight which one it is. Let me just see. Let me check my emails quickly. I'll keep monitoring that, right? Okay. Yeah, Rotan is like, what? We don't like half-baked documents. Like, what is this? What's going on page 35 there? Okay, so additional evidence relevant to detention. Farwell had a history of choking Birchmore. Through this investigation, agents have identified evidence that Farwell expressed an interest in violent sex and has a history of choking Birchmore. On more than one occasion, Farwell asked Birchmore to perform his RAPE fantasies during sex, whereby Birchmore would pretend to be the victim of Farwell's simulated SAs. I really worry about how many other victims there are, especially if he's got these fantasies. Then when did he then do that for real to others? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he didn't do it for real to her. She was sexually abused. She was groomed. I'm just saying if he's doing these simulated sexual assaults, when did he do actual ones, is what I'm saying. It still doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel comfortable saying that because he did SA her. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering about how many other victims are there? I'm very concerned about that. I hope people come forward, contact probably the feds. I don't know if I would trust everybody there right now. I'm not sure. But I hope that they are able to, at some point, right, come forward and safely relay the information if they have any information on this guy. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much for sending me that page. If you guys give me a second, let me try to get it. Scroll to page 35. I'm going to page 35. Thank you so much. Wow, very interesting. On my page 35, we're on page 38 now. Okay, we're gonna just go back because we like to be very, very thorough over here. Look at this one. Okay, and now let's quickly look at this one. We'll go back to this in a moment. Yeah, there's page 35. Like, what the heck happened in the download, or in what version was that? What's going on? I don't know. I haven't actually seen that. I thought I read everything, but okay, moving on here. Page 35. We went back 3 pages, okay? Let's go up here. Okay, so this is where she said, I'm running to the store, doing something for you then. I hope you can come. And we read that, right? And Birchmore said, I don't have any. I never picked any up. Birchmore, do you want me to just take what you do or try to say no? I know being told no is your favorite. And he said, say no. And Birchmore said, I can do that. Approximately 21 minutes after the foregoing text messages, Farwell told Birchmore that he was at her apartment, and subsequent text messages indicate that she let him in. Approximately 25 minutes later, Birchmore, asked Farwell via text message whether he enjoyed having vaginal sex with her again, and he responded, yeah. Wow, okay. During the February 6th, 2021 interview, Farwell told detectives that he had been at Birchmore's apartment on the night of February 1st of 2021. However, he denied having anything to do with her death. He told detectives that he had arrived around 9:10 p.m. and left around 9:30 p.m. I'm aware from my review of surveillance footage that Birchmore's apartment building that Farwell actually left at 9:43 p.m. That was after Birchmore's phone stopped sending messages or recording movement. Within approximately 13 hours of Farwell's visit to Birchmore's apartment on February 1st of 2021, his wife gave birth to their third child at Newton Wesley Hospital, adding to the intensifying pressure to ensure that Birchmore would not disclose information regarding Farwell's conduct. Farwell told detectives that he had not seen Birchmore at all in the week leading up to her death, except during the visit to her apartment on February 1st of 2021. Based on my review of the text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, Farwell visited Birchmore at her apartment on January 29th of 2021. Farwell told detectives that Birchmore had been sectioned many times. Oh my word. Thank you so much, Gemma, for sending me this. I really appreciate that we could read. That's important because he's just the victim blaming. Wow. He's just like, yeah, she's been sectioned many times. Don't these predators always do that? Just like, she's crazy. Yeah, no, look in the mirror, bro. You're in jail. Okay, based on my training and experience, sectioned is a term that Massachusetts law enforcement officers often use to refer to the practice of involuntary hospitalization on a temporary basis for persons with severe mental health issues. However, the Stoughton Police Department, the law enforcement agency in the town where Birchmore lived her whole life before moving to Canton on or about December 1st, has a record of Birchmore being subject to this temporary mental health hospitalization only one time in May of 2020. And he's like, all the time. According to police records and information disclosed by Person 7, on that day, Birchmore had gotten into a fight with a family member who called the police and reported Birchmore was going to harm herself. The police took Birchmore to the hospital, where she was evaluated and deemed not at risk for self-harm. She was released a few hours later. According to that Person 7, Birchmore stated that she was not wanting to take her own life, just angry at her family member. Additionally, I'm aware that minutes after Birchmore's release from this unfounded section, Farwell and Birchmore engaged in a graphic sexual conversation. Later, Birchmore apologized for worrying Farwell, and Farwell replied, I wasn't worried, I know you're fine. Okay, so that's where we were. We were there. I'm just going to keep reading this document. We're on page 38 now here. About the post-interview conduct, okay? At some point during the summer of 2021, Person 4, we're going to read this one again. Person 4 attended a social gathering with Farwell, during which Farwell participated in a joke about Birchmore being hung on the door. What? Now, the footnote says, I'm aware that in Farwell's time as a Stoughton police officer and then detective, he responded to unattended deaths. Additional evidence relevant to detention. We're on page 38. Farwell had a history of choking Birchmore. Through this investigation, agents have identified evidence that Farwell expressed an interest in violent sex and has a history of choking Birchmore. On more than one occasion, Farwell asked Birchmore to perform his RAPE fantasies during sex, whereby Birchmore would pretend to be the victim of Farwell's simulated SA. Moreover, I reviewed text messages that indicate that over the course of their relationship, Farwell initiated the concept of choking Birchmore on numerous occasions. In 2020, the year preceding her death, text messages revealed that Farwell told Birchmore on at least 20 separate occasions that he would grab her throat, pin her down by her throat, squeeze her throat, or choke her during sexual activity. These messages were sent on the following dates: January 29th of 2020, February 10th of 2020, February 21st of 2020, March 9th. These are all for 2020. March 9th, March 23rd, March 30th, April 2nd, May 11th, May 14th, May 15th, June 4th, June 7th. That's a lot of times. June 13th, June 27th, August 5th, August 14th, September 25th, October 14th, October 15th, and November 13th of 2020. Based on my review of Birchmore's journal entries as early as 2013, when Birchmore was just 16 years old, Farwell introduced the idea of choking during their sexual encounters and discussions. From her journal entries, when she was just 16. One such example of Farwell promising to choke Birchmore occurred on October 14th of 2020, when Farwell told Birchmore that he was going to cover her mouth during sex and maybe I'll choke you a little. In that same conversation, Farwell told Birchmore, "I'll grab your throat and say you won't say a word to anyone." On October 15th of 2020, Farwell told Birchmore that during their next sexual encounter, he was going to grab her throat and say, "Shut the F up now, or I won't pull out." On November 13th of 2020, Farwell and Birchmore again discussed choking. In that conversation, Farwell told Birchmore, "Maybe I'll hold you down by your throat while I pound you." He asked her how tight he should squeeze, and then stated he wanted her to feel like, "OMG, this is really happening and I can't stop it." He wants her to feel like she might die. I mean, that is just ridiculous. This guy is just yuck. And to think that he actually is now accused of strangling her to death. Wow. Yeah, all these text messages are going to come up, right? One Love said, "Good grief, that is really scary to be treated like that. She was a child." Yeah, POS. Farwell used violent sex as a form of punishment. We're on page 39. Birchmore's journal entries from 2013 through 2020 detail a continuous and sometimes violent sexual relationship with Farwell. Birchmore often journaled about Farwell using sex acts to punish her. According to her journal entries, Farwell would engage in forceful oral, vaginal, and anal sex acts to punish her for mistakes, such as getting bad grades, having intercourse with other people, like the twin brothers also allegedly abused her, and other police officers, but okay, having intercourse with other people, failing to share her cell phone location with him. Oh my. He's like, "I couldn't stalk you that day." This guy, it's like, the coercive control is very bad. I have reviewed numerous text messages that Farwell sent Birchmore, including some from March of 2019, which are consistent with Farwell's practice of using certain sex acts to punish her for lying or being intimate with someone else. For example, in a text conversation on March 7th of 2019, Farwell said, "You would have to take a serious pounding to make me happy." Birchmore said, "Is it for everything?" He says, "No, you owe me 3. Based on my training and experience, I know the acronym for STFU means shut the F up." Farwell, "I'll give you a break and spread them out." Birchmore, "Please, not all the same day." Farwell, "No, I'll give you like a week so you can feel it, and then as soon as it goes away, you'll get it again. So you'll feel it for like a whole month." Birchmore said, "Not gonna be a fun month." And he's like, "Not for you." Farwell's fixation with RAPE, fantasies. Text messages between Farwell and Birchmore reveal Farwell's interest in SA. For example, in one text conversation on November 8th of 2020, she was murdered on February 1st of 2021, Farwell told Birchmore that he enjoyed having sex with her. When Birchmore asked what would be perfect for him, Farwell replied, "You say no and make me take it. Full R word." When Birchmore indicated that she was amenable to that, Farwell responded, "Doesn't matter. I'll do whatever I want anyways." Wow. Okay. I just really want to refresh the chat here because for me, it's just completely paused. I can't see what you guys are saying. Hold on one second. It just froze. If any of you are experiencing that, just refresh the live stream and it should work again for you. Okay. We're almost there. So much information in this case. Sure. Okay, so during another text message conversation between Farwell and Birchmore, Farwell instructed Birchmore to call him daddy during sexual encounters. In that conversation on October 18th of 2020, Farwell told Birchmore that daddy was going to engage in anal sex with her. He also indicated that when he was done, he was going to grab her hair, pull her head back, and tell her to keep her effing mouth shut. Do you understand me? Oh, he's a big man. He's a boss. Based on my review of the text messages between Farwell and Birchmore, I believe Farwell is referring to RAPE as the R word in this message. Okay, they keep going. This is all the allegations and evidence against him. Farwell has obsessive and controlling tendencies. Somebody got the barf bag, right? Blueberry Art says, "You can't see it because we are all..." Oh, okay, I see it. You're like, "We are all sick over here." Sorry about that. It's bad, right? Pinche Becky Zeros Given said, "This is all this girl knew of love." SOB. That's so sad. So text messages between Farwell and Birchmore include Farwell's repeated demands that Birchmore set her phone's location sharing settings to allow him to always view her location. That's stalking. In these text conversations, Farwell indicated Birchmore needed to share this information in order to gain back his trust for her alleged lies and infidelity. Oh my word, he's the married guy. He's the married guy. On March 11th of 2019, Farwell asked Birchmore why her location was off and why he can no longer see it. On March 22nd of 2019, Farwell asked Birchmore to reveal her location. When she responded that she was at 7-Eleven, Farwell told her that he knew that she was in Abington, and he asked multiple times why she would go there when Stoughton has 100 convenience stores. On April 22nd of 2019, Farwell sent Birchmore a text message stating, I know you're hiding shit. Your location is off again. On June 22nd of 2019, Farwell sent Birchmore a text message asking why she turned off her location data the other day. On July 5th of 2019, Farwell again reached out to Birchmore saying, I see your location is off again. Whoa. Stalking, coercive control. It sounds like eventually domestic violence. There's grooming, there's sexual assault. There's all sorts of terrible, terrible things that she experienced with him. On July 5th, Farwell again reached out saying, I see your location is off again. In July of 2020, Farwell apparently transitioned from wanting to track Birchmore's location to prioritizing secrecy. Farwell, you can turn your location back off if you want. Birchmore, it wasn't off. That's why I wasn't sure it wasn't showing up. Then I just unshared and reshared it with you. You can have it. It's been a thing for years. Lol. He says, lol, okay. Lol is obviously laugh out loud, right? Birchmore, I don't know if you know where I am. I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be. My leg's shaking a shit ton right now. I'm feeling that tomorrow. Farwell, lol, I know that. I just don't really like any of that stuff. Big brother is always watching. Yes, he is. And he's going to nail your ass at the trial, sir. Birchmore, I don't understand what you mean. Shaman. And he says, I'm just saying iPhones keep track of way too much stuff. I don't mean anything by it. You see, shows she's very young. You know what I mean? She's like, I don't know what that is. What's that reference? Yes, Farwell. That's what happens when you date someone so young. Date. By date, I mean abuse, groom. Sexually abused. Nice one. Okay. So, we're almost there. It's just like, whoa, doesn't this case just make you so upset? Wow. Farwell's iCloud account contains disturbing images regarding violence and necrophilia. Okay. During this investigation pursuant to a federal search warrant, agents obtained and reviewed data from Farwell's iCloud account. Located in Farwell's iCloud account were several memes that indicate his interest in sexual intercourse with dead bodies. A meme that states, what does a pulse and an orgasm have in common? I don't care if she has either. Another meme states, if you F a corpse on a waterbed, it feels like they are participating. A meme glorifying a person who kills and sexually abuses someone who no one will miss. Farwell's iCloud data also contains images that reveal his interest in domestic and sexual violence. I do wonder what his wife's experience would be like, or is that just like his cover life, or what's going on there? Like, how did he behave with her, right? A meme containing a photo of a woman with tape over her mouth that states duct tape turning no into since 1942. Farwell's iCloud data also shows images that could reveal his interest in strangulation. For example, one such image states, when she says, choke me, daddy, and you get carried away and now she's dead. Oh, he's a funny guy, isn't he? There's also a screenshot of an image of a woman saying that she could not sleep, followed by a man choking her saying, good night, bitch. Again, nice guy, isn't he? Or DW, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. That's so cute. Look at this little sticker. It says, incredible. Thank you so much. Farwell's efforts to conceal his crimes were on page 43 out of 45. On February 9th of 2021, after giving his personal cell phone to state police detectives, Farwell used his Stoughton police-issued cell phone to make and delete 2 Google searches. First, Farwell searched for and deleted, can delete iMessage be recovered by Celebrite? She's so dumb, I'm aware. Oh my goodness. It's like, he asked Uncle Google, can deleted iMessage be recovered by Celebrite? Yes, they can. Okay. He then searched for and deleted, can you revoke consent in Massachusetts? I have identified text messages between Farwell and Birchmore in which Farwell directed Birchmore to destroy evidence of their sexual relationship. Yeah, Maya's like, oh wow, Stefan Stearns 2.0. Same types, right? Predatory, groomers, targeting vulnerable children. And then like all of this is like, oh my. Okay. So on March 11th of 2019, Farwell sent Birchmore a text reminding her to make sure you clear this all out. On March 19th of 2019, Farwell sent Birchmore texts about his desire to use sexual violence and pretend to SA her. At the end of this conversation, Farwell sent her a text indicating that he was going to bed and instructed her to clear out this text. On June 5th of 2019, Farwell directed Birchmore to make sure all of their text messages and Facebook messages had been deleted. There are also text messages between Farwell and Birchmore in which Farwell directed Birchmore to destroy evidence regarding the beginning of their relationship. This would be evidence of Farwell's efforts to coerce and entice Birchmore to engage in sexual intercourse when she was 15 years old. Tea and Wildflowers are like, gotta love celebrate. Right? Yes, indeed. Now, Farwell, wish we had done it for real the first time. And Birchmore said, I know you do, baby. And he said, it would have been perfect. Yes. Was it still perfect the first time? He says, of course it was, baby. She does a smiley face. Farwell said, I never thought you'd let me. I never thought you would. Oh, Birchmore says, I never thought you would. Farwell says, I wanted it so bad. Birchmore says, so did I. I knew the day we made eye contact, I wanted you to F me. Farwell, you should have told me. We could have F'd so much sooner. I mean, she was 15. And he's like, it could have been so much sooner. You see, these text messages, they're going to come up in his trial. We won't see it because it's a federal case, but you know, I'm sure they're going to bring all this up. So Birchmore sent a smiley face and he said, clear that part out, baby. Oh, yeah, because he knows it's wrong. Birchmore, I did. And he says, good girl. Conclusion. The information set forth above supports the government's motion to detain Matthew Farwell pending trial in this case. And that is the end of that document, you guys. Oh, sorry, I'm moving the wrong thing. Wait, I want to move myself over. Okay, be the lighthouse, huh? Be the lighthouse. Let's look at this lighthouse today. From Judge Don Ash from the Sean Finnegan trial. If his daughter is watching, send regards. So he had reached out to me via email saying that his daughter was watching the trial with us, which was really nice as well to know. Okay, so wow, that was intense. We learned a lot about this creep, right? So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to continue to comb through all these documents. We've now done 2 parts of this case, Sandra Birchmore's case. There was an overview with a timeline, and then we also did this as part of our deep dive, right? There's lots to go through. I'll keep you posted on what happens next. I don't think he's going to be in court now on September 12th. We'll see what the next court date will be. Of course, we won't see the trial, as I say, because it's a federal case. He could be facing the death penalty in this case because it's a federal case. And let's hope that there will be full justice for Sandra Birchmore. And it's a case like, as I said earlier, Ellen Greenberg, where it's like, there's no way she did that to herself. I really hope Ellen Greenberg will also get full justice. And if you've never heard of Sean Doherty's case, a 12-year-old boy who the police determined and the medical examiner was like, yep, he tied himself to a swing and he took his own life that way. No, really doesn't seem so good. Check out that case as well, right? Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I know today we did a lot. If you were at both live streams, my goodness, certificate for you, gold stars for you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I know we talked a lot today. We talked about Madeline Soto's case and we listened to Jen Soto's police interview. I will release the audio file probably tomorrow, right? I say tomorrow. For you, it might still be today, depending on. For me, it's already Sunday. It's now 3 minutes past midnight. So I'll still do that. And then I'll see you again very soon, everyone. So thank you so much. I will, thank you, mods. Really appreciate that as well. Lots of time today. See you soon. Keep me posted. Send me things based on this case. If you want to email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. And if you want to find any of the links to support the work that I do, or of course the mods as well, you can go to grizzlytruecrime.com. All right, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.